Weinstein is here, others will follow. By the way, why do I say Weinstein? It's a German name, it's Weinstein. Whatever. Yeah, I'm talking about the exodus of the perverted Hollywoodlings who will flee prosecution to nations that won't send them back to the States, like France. Again, Weinstein was the first. Woody Allen already talks about his fear of a witch hunt, and I'm sure some people in Hollywood plan extended trips to Europe right now in this very moment. Well, I see a lot of Hollywood refugees in the future of Europe, and I'm very curious how our left will react to that. Are they welcome or not? You see, the connection between the left establishment and Weinstein in special is something that is not widely known by the left in Europe. Also not that he was identified by others and identified himself as a feminist. They pretty much crucify him via social media, which is pretty interesting. In the same time, the Catalonia sting is still not over. The left punches this agenda non-stop because Catalonia is very much left-wing and pro-Islamic to at least a certain degree. So we have now in Europe this strange situation that the left is very loudly against nations and very loudly for nations, very loudly against certain refugees like Weinstein, for example, because he seems to be a rapist, but they do insist very loudly that if you are a refugee, you pretty much can't be a criminal or a rapist because they are victims. And they are victims if they are fleeing for some reason nobody should really ask for, because there is no such thing as a legitimate oppression against someone like the jailing of a murderer, for instance. Except perhaps if it comes from our own European states. That the left contradicts itself is nothing new, and that they try to wash anything away with the word "this is something completely different." You can't compare that. That's something completely different. You can't compare that like at all. But this has now cracks. You can see it, they can see it, everyone can see it. People start to realize that they are contradiction one another, and that the line they were following for so long is not a line at all. It's a flag in the wind, no better, it's a flag in a storm. It shows in all directions and in none. The people so desperate for direction and yes, leadership, see that the left movement can't provide that anymore, or perhaps never could. And this is what I meant with the refugees of the great meme war. A lot of these people seek new directions and move from the left fringe to the right, which will become a problem, mark my words. The very same behavior we saw in the last 10 years in the left will pop up in the next 10 years in the right, carried by the same kind of people, carried by the same people. But whatever. Wherever these Hollywood rapists people will go, it won't stop with Weinstein. Others will go this safe route and will go away as long as they can, and a lot of them will end up in Europe. The right in Europe will, if they have any sense for public relations, take advantage of that. They will bring up the connection between people who flee prosecution for rape, like Weinstein, to other criminals who simply flee legitimate prosecution in their own countries, which pretty much explains why they don't want their citizens back. If a criminal leaves your country, this is the best thing that can happen to you. He's gone, you don't have to pay for him and his jail cell, and you don't have a guilty conscience for killing him. And the fact is, it looks like Europe is a safe harbor for rapists, rich and poor, right now. And the fact becomes clearer every day. We can change that. And it looks like Austria will change that in the coming years, which will bring us in a conflict with Germany. But what's new anyway? Thanks for listening, like, share and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.